All right, guys, let's take an updated look at the current bubble picture headed into Saturday. We had some huge games today with serious bubble implications. Now, at the moment, New Mexico is still playing, so that could shift some things depending on how they win or lose against Colorado State. Let's go ahead and get into it. We have about 15 teams right now for about 5 spots that are up in the air, I would say. All right, so in the ACC, we have Pitt and Virginia. All right, Virginia choked that game away today against NC State. Actually turned it off to a different game with like 2 minutes left. And then I see that it's headed into overtime. So I flip back. Anyways, they're up like 6 with like a minute left and choked it away. NC State wins in overtime. We'll get to NC State in a little bit, but bad news for Virginia. All right, in the Big East, we have Seton Hall at 20-12, St. John's at 20-12, and Providence at 21-12. All right, all these teams pretty even here. All of them have kind of beat each other and beaten the same teams. Obviously, Seton Hall is the only one to beat Uconn, though, so that could stand out. They do have some questionable losses, though, so I wouldn't doubt that one of these teams ends up getting left off. St. John's and Providence needed a win today to kind of really confirm their status. In the Mountain West, like I said, we have New Mexico right now. They're playing Colorado State. I think they're in no matter what, but if they just get, ran off the court right now, that could change things. In the Pac-12, we've got Colorado at 24-9. I think Colorado's in. Now, if you are a bubble team, you're rooting for Colorado tomorrow. They play Oregon. We'll get to them in a second, but that's a potential bid thief that you don't want to see eliminate a spot. In the SEC, we've got Texas A&M left at 19-13, and then outside of the major conferences, we have Appalachian State at 27-5 and Indiana State at 28-6. So about 11 teams fighting for 5 spots, pretty much what we got left. Teams that got eliminated today: Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. Oregon is still in play, but they're no longer a bubble candidate because so many other teams have won. They've eliminated from bubble candidacy. But some bid thieves to watch for, okay? So if you're a bubble team or if you're a fan of one of these bubble teams, you want to be rooting against these teams I'm about to tell you, okay? So in the AAC, the American Conference, pretty much FAU needs to win that conference for you to gain a bubble spot. As of right now, I already have it factored in that USF is going to win the American. So if FAU somehow wins the American, that would gain another bubble spot. So a team that's not in for me right now would get in. All right, then in the ACC, we've got NC State. They play North Carolina. If NC State wins, they're still in the bid, which means there's going to be one team less that is on the bubble, okay? So it's going to eliminate a bubble spot. Same thing with Oregon. So let's say Oregon and NC State win. There's going to be 2 less bubble spots than there already are. So if you're a fan, like I said, root for FAU in the American Conference, root for North Carolina in the ACC, and root for Colorado in the Pac-12. All right, so getting to our updated bubble picture. All right, last 4 byes: Oklahoma, Mississippi State, and Michigan State. All 3 of those are safe. They're definitely in. And then New Mexico. All right, New Mexico could move down with a loss today. If they lose big to Colorado State, I think they're in. But as of right now, they're the only team that could move down out of all these teams. All the other 3 teams are safe. All right, then last 4 in, Colorado. Colorado could easily move up and swap places with New Mexico if New Mexico loses today. Virginia is not safe right now. All right, they're okay, but that loss today could be crippling in the end. All right, Texas A&M, they're in pretty good shape right now. Need to just probably win the SEC tournament just to be safe. And then as of right now, we've got Providence. This last spot is really the only one I'm kind of shook on right now, okay? Colorado, Virginia, and A&M I'm pretty comfortable with putting in right now. Providence, though, there's about everybody in my first 4 out could easily swap with Providence, okay? So Indiana State, Pitt, St. John's, and Seton Hall could easily swap with Providence. Indiana State, I think they're going to get hurt from probably playing their conference tournament so much earlier. If they were playing today and let's say they lose to Drake tomorrow night, I think they would get in. But recency bias is probably going to play a factor here. And I think Indiana State is ultimately going to get left out. And then Pitt, St. John's, and Seton Hall, they all have such a similar resume to Providence that it's kind of tough to decipher. And really, they're all similar. Like I said, and none of them are playing anymore, so that doesn't help them. Now, Pitt was going to be in for me, but that Virginia loss really hurt their chances, I think, because I don't see them putting 2 teams from the ACC into the first 4 that playing game. So I think that's going to hurt them in the long run. And then in terms of what I was talking about earlier, okay, so I already have the USF at large factored in, or the automatic qualifier factored in. So let's say NC State wins and let's say Oregon wins tomorrow. That's going to eliminate 2 of these bubble spots, okay? So pretty much what that would mean is New Mexico and one of these teams, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, and Michigan State, will be headed to the first 4 along with probably Colorado and Virginia is what we're looking at here. So if you're A&M, Providence, Indiana State, Pitt, St. John, Seton Hall, you want Oregon to lose, you want North Carolina State to lose. Otherwise, it's going to eliminate some spots for you. All right, the next 4 out, Kansas State, Ohio State, Appalachian State, Wake Forest. Only one of these with an outside chance is Appalachian State, but that's probably not happening. They do have that win over Auburn. So if you're Appalachian State, you got to hope that Auburn runs the gauntlet in the SEC tournament and wins the SEC, which would give you multiple wins over tournament teams. All right, win over Auburn, and then 2 wins over James Madison would definitely help you out there. But other than that, though, really, it's coming down to, like I said, about 11 teams fighting for pretty much 5 spots. But Colorado, Virginia, and New Mexico, I'm pretty confident are in. Now, Virginia, if somehow NC State wins tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if Virginia gets left out, because also you could see A&M go on a run and win the SEC tournament, which could also pretty much eliminate another spot. And so that could really impact things here. If Oregon, NC State, and A&M won, that would really, really trim down the bubble a lot. And pretty much almost this whole last 4 byes would almost be playing in the last 4 in. So it could seriously change things. But that is my list at the moment. Going into Saturday, it'll probably change over the day, all right, because we know games are going to happen. Teams are going to move up and down. Wins and losses are going to look better that you had over this team because they looked like crap today and so on. But do me a favor, let me know your last 4 at the moment. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.